Think about the last time your mood shifted for no reason you could name. A sudden wave of unease before a day that had no real threat in it. A flash of irritation that seemed to come from nowhere. A craving so specific and so insistent that it felt less like a choice and more like an order. We tend to believe that our moods are ours, that they rise from our thoughts, our memories, our personality, the private theater of the mind. But what if a large part of what you feel today was decided not in your brain at all, but somewhere far lower, in the dark, churning world of your gut, by trillions of living organisms you have never met and cannot see? Take a moment to consider your relationship with your own moods. How often do you truly know why you feel the way you feel? Have you ever eaten something and felt your mind lift, or sat with an empty, anxious stomach and felt the world turn gray around you? We treat these as coincidences, as background noise, but they may be signals. Messages traveling up from a hidden conversation happening inside you every second of every day. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt your gut and your mood move together? I read everyone, and if the unseen forces shaping your life are what fascinate you, subscribe and hit that like button so more people can find this hidden world with us. So let's begin with a fact that still surprises most people when they first hear it. You do not have one brain. You have two. Lining the walls of your digestive system is a vast and intricate network of neurons. Over 100 million of them. So complex and so independent that scientists have given it a name of its own. The enteric nervous system, often called the second brain. It is not a metaphor. This network can operate on its own, controlling the movements of your gut even when its connection to the main brain is severed. And crucially, it is in constant, intimate communication with the brain in your skull, sending far more messages upward than it ever receives in return. The gut is not a passive tube that simply processes food. It is a thinking, signaling organ, and it has a lot to say. But the second brain is only half the story, and here's where it becomes truly strange. Living inside that gut, in numbers almost beyond comprehension, is the microbiome, an ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms. There are so many of them that, for much of your life, the cells that are technically you and the microbial cells living within you exist in roughly equal numbers. You are, in the most literal biological sense, a walking partnership. And these microbes are not silent passengers. They are chemists. They manufacture, consume, and respond to a staggering range of molecules. And some of those molecules are the very same chemicals your brain uses to regulate how you feel. Consider serotonin, the molecule so famously linked to happiness, calm, and emotional balance that entire classes of antidepressants are built around it. Most people assume serotonin lives in the brain. It doesn't, not mostly. Around 90% of your body's serotonin is produced not in your head, but in your gut, and your gut microbes play a direct role in driving that production. The same is true of other powerful mood molecules. Certain gut bacteria produce GABA, the chemical that quiets anxiety and calms the nervous system. Others influence dopamine, the molecule of motivation and reward. The microscopic tenants of your intestines are, quite literally, helping to brew the chemistry of your emotions. And how do these signals reach the brain? Through one of the most remarkable structures in the human body, the vagus nerve. Picture a vast biological cable running from the base of your brain all the way down into your gut, branching as it goes. This nerve is a superhighway of information, and the traffic on it flows mostly upward, from gut to brain. When microbes in your intestines produce certain compounds, the vagus nerve can carry that information directly to the regions of the brain that govern mood, stress, and fear. Cut this nerve in laboratory studies, and the gut suddenly loses much of its power to influence behavior. It is the physical wire through which the unseen world below speaks to the conscious world above. If this still sounds like speculation, the experiments are where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Scientists have raised mice in completely sterile environments with no microbiome at all, animals that are genetically normal but utterly germ-free. These mice behave differently. They show altered responses to stress, unusual patterns of anxiety, and changes in social behavior, all traceable to the simple absence of gut microbes. But the truly stunning result came later, when researchers took gut bacteria from bold, adventurous mice and transplanted them into timid, anxious mice, and vice versa. The personalities began to follow the microbes. The cautious animals grew bolder. The bold ones grew more cautious. Behavior, it seemed, could be transferred from one creature to another through nothing more than the transplant of their unseen inhabitants. Now, hold that thought, because it leads to an even more uncomfortable question about your own choices. Have you ever wondered why a craving can feel so overpowering, so specific, so unlike a calm decision? There is growing evidence that your gut microbes may be active participants in what you crave. Different species thrive on different foods. Some flourish on sugar, others on fiber, others on fat. And they have an interest in being fed what they prefer. Through the very same signaling pathways that touch your mood, some researchers believe microbes can nudge your appetite toward the foods that benefit them, sending discomfort when they are deprived and a sense of reward when they are satisfied. The late-night pull toward sugar may not be a failure of your willpower at all. It may be a negotiation, one in which you were never told you had a seat at the table. The relationship runs in both directions, which is why stress feels the way it does. When you are anxious or under pressure, your brain sends signals downward that change the environment of your gut, altering its movement, its chemistry, and even the balance of species living within it. This is the churning stomach before a hard conversation, the loss of appetite in grief, the knot of dread that is felt as much in the belly as in the mind. And then the gut answers back. A disturbed microbiome sends its own altered signals upward, which can deepen anxiety and low mood, which further disturbs the gut. It is a loop, a feedback spiral, and for many people caught in chronic stress or digestive distress, the two problems feed each other in a cycle that neither the mind nor the gut can break alone. So, what does this mean for you, sitting here, in your ordinary life? It means that something as simple as what you eat may be quietly shaping how you feel, not through some vague notion of healthy living, but through the direct and measurable effect of food on the community inside you. Diets rich in fiber and diverse plant foods tend to nourish a varied, resilient microbiome, the kind associated with steadier mood and lower anxiety. Fermented foods introduce living microbes that can shift the balance. A monotonous diet of heavily processed food, by contrast, tends to starve that diversity, narrowing the ecosystem and, in some studies, correlating with poorer mental well-being. You are not only feeding yourself at every meal, you are feeding, or starving, the invisible council that helps decide your emotional weather, and the frontier of this science is only beginning to open. Researchers are now exploring what they call psychobiotics, specific strains of beneficial bacteria studied for their potential to influence mood, ease anxiety, and support mental health. Imagine a future where, alongside therapy and traditional medicine, a person struggling with their mind might also be prescribed a precisely chosen community of microbes to restore balance to the ecosystem within. It is early, and the science demands caution. The gut is not a simple machine with obvious levers, but the direction is unmistakable. We are learning that the path to a calmer mind may run, in part, straight through the gut. There is something deeply humbling in all of this. We like to imagine the self as a single, unified author. One mind, sitting in command, choosing its own feelings. But the truth that science keeps uncovering is stranger and far more interconnected. You are not a single organism issuing orders to a quiet body. You are an alliance, a vast and ancient collaboration between your own cells and trillions of others, all of them voting, signaling, negotiating, in a conversation that produces the thing you experience as how I feel today. The microbes do not control you the way a puppeteer controls a puppet. It is subtler and more profound than that. They are part of the very system from which your moods emerge. So, the next time a feeling rises in you without explanation, a wave of calm, a flicker of dread, a craving you didn't choose, pause before you assume it began in your mind. Somewhere below your conscious awareness, in the warm and crowded dark of your gut, trillions of living things are signaling, building, and breaking down the molecules of emotion, sending their messages up the long cable to your brain. You cannot see them. You have never thanked them or cursed them by name, and yet they are there right now, helping to write the quiet story of how you feel. The question is no longer whether they shape your mind. The question is how much of what you call you was theirs all along.